I'm having FOB issues. FOB issues, I hear you say. That's correct. That's this little fella here. When I press my unlock button, nothing happens. When I press my lock button, nothing happens. But if I turn the key, we can hear it unlock, or lock, unlock, and then lock again. So let's head back inside, check our little FOB and see if we can find a solution for it or a replacement for it. First things first, why do I keep calling this thing a FOB? Well, a FOB is the correct term for anything that's really attached to your keychain. In actual fact, it dates back to the time when gentlemen used to keep their watches in what was called a FOB watch in a little pocket down here. Nowadays it refers to pretty much anything that's attached to your keychain. So it could be a little trinket like this, my little piston, or it could be a light that we use to find our way at night. This is called an electronic FOB. So this is my faulty one. That's what we'll look at fixing right now. In the case of an electronic FOB, think of a radio transmitter and of course the car being the receiver. This puts out a particular radio frequency and the car responds accordingly by unlocking or locking the door. First things first, let's get this puppy off the keychain and then split open. So to remove the electronics from the component housing, I'm going to use a tool that came with an iPad screen replacement that came with a kit. So, but anything like that, even a screwdriver would be okay. But simply, you can see there's a line, there's a join down the center there. So just carefully put it in there and gently pop it apart. It's fairly basic inside. Generally you'll probably find a fair bit of dust and dirt in there which can cause problems. Two things I did notice with this particular FOB to start with was that when I press the unlock button, I'm not sure if you can hear that, but you can clearly hear the button going off and on. When I press the lock button, it's solid and I can't hear it going off and on. So whether it's giving the transmission of staying locked all the time or not, I don't know. Therefore not allowing it to unlock, but I'll check that. And secondly, of course, there's a battery there that needs to be checked to make sure that the voltage is okay and it's not flat. So that's what I'll do next. This is actually set up quite nicely inside. If we have a look here, we can see that it has B plus and B negative. These are the test points for the battery. Not only that, they've been nice enough to actually list the battery size and make sure that you get the correct one to replace it. So now I'll just test with my multimeter across here and here to make sure that my battery's in good condition. Just put my multimeter on DC volts. Test across these 2 points. And we're getting 3.127 volts. And according to what it says here, we should have 3 volts. So I know that that battery is in good condition. So time to strip it down a little further. It's actually easy to get out of the frame. All you do is you turn it upside down, press on the buttons. As you can see, it comes away from its frame. Put that to one side and we can focus on the electronic component itself. I did mention to you that there would be plenty of dust. Imagine that this has been floating around in your pocket for quite some time with all your other goodies, your loose change and everything else. So you can see there's quite a bit of dust there, isn't there? So we'll clean that up. It may be that the button is stuck just because of dust, but that's the next job. Let's have a look at that. Here's the circuitry on this side. Now let's have a look. We have our lock button at the top and the unlock button next down. I've checked for voltage in various places on either side of my switch when I contact it, and that appears to be working both in the unlock and the lock position. So now I'm just going to do some other testing with it, keeping in mind that the button didn't feel right. I've also pulled the switch apart. As we can see here, I've pulled off the outer shell that holds it, and the little button as well. They're quite small, as you can see, and there's a little lump on the back of it which contacts the this little fella here, which would be a bimetal strip or a spring steel that would bounce up and down. So I just need to find out why it's doing that. So the next thing that I will inspect is the actual switch contacts itself and find out why it's not bouncing back, it's not giving that spring that it needs, and whether that in fact is causing an issue. Not sure if you can see it or not, but on the edge of that spring steel contact, which is part of your switch assembly, there's quite a few burn marks where it's been arcing across. Even though it's only minimal voltage, it's obviously created some damage on that switch, and maybe that's why it wasn't bouncing back. So what I'll do is I'll rotate it now, I'll put it in a different position, and hopefully it'll come back to life. So I've just put the little spring steel switch section back in. Now I'll just pop back in the little rubber press button area. Make sure that's in place, and then I'll have to put in the actual support that holds it into place. I did have to bend it a little bit to get it out, so hopefully it won't be an issue. It also has this little tang off to one side that faces that little copper area there, so I have to make sure I locate it correctly. That goes off to that side just like it does on this one. So hopefully I can pop it back into place. Still not getting that spring back that it needs to have. So it might have actually lost the tension out of the spring itself. That one clearly still has it there, but this one definitely doesn't. It's obviously lost the tension across it. Maybe due to overheating. That could have done it. It's an issue. In view of the fact that I'm struggling to find any components listed for this particular fob, particularly the little IC that's in there, I can't find a data sheet for it anywhere. So it's a bit of a struggle to try and do a repair on the little fob. So what I've done is I've bought two extra ones for basically the price of one. Second hand they are, but I've been assured that they work okay. So my next step is I'll show you how to program these fobs into the vehicle that you have right now. You can actually include other fobs at the same time, but the thing is you must program all of them, including your existing ones, at this particular time during the programming process. So we'll head outside and I'll show you how to do that next step. If you intend reprogramming any of these fobs and you have extras, you must do them all at the same time. I managed to pick up two for the price of one pretty much. They're second hand, but I've been assured that they work okay. So I need to marry all three together with my signal, the program that I'm doing now. There's a step-by-step process we must follow to reprogram our fobs to suit the ECU or the immobiliser system. This is a transmitter. We have a receiver down here. We've got to marry the two together. I'll put a link in the description down below so that you can follow these steps closely. Without these steps followed closely, you won't be able to reprogram your fob. First things first, you have your key in the ignition and you pull it out. Next thing you do is make sure that all the doors are shut, but then you open the driver's door. So the next step has to be done within 24 seconds of start. First thing I need to do is put my key in the ignition. I now need to turn it to the on and off position 2 times. Pull the key out. Press your door switch frame 3 times. this point you should hear door locks go off and on and some chimes happening. I don't hear it right now. The reason being is because I've been filming, it's taking longer than 24 seconds. That's our cut-off time for programming. If that happens, don't panic. Just wait 40 seconds, then reinsert your key into the ignition and start that procedure again. Once you've done that, then you should hear your door locks go off and on and chimes, then you continue on. Just keep in mind, if you do happen to do that, you'll need to do all the transmitters at once. Can you hear that? The door locks have gone through their up and down range. So now I have to press this twice. You heard it lock. I need to press my second one. And again. And finally, my third one. And you heard it activate. That should be it, I hope. Fingers crossed, and we've got it sorted. So now I'll step outside and see if all the fobs work for this single car. Okay, have we been successful? Let's find out. First fob, unlock and lock. Notice the indicator light there, and also you can hear the locks going. First one done. Unlock and lock. Indicator light is a good signal. And finally the third one, unlock and lock. I'd say that's a success. So this is how you reprogram the fobs for this particular model, your Electronic Immobiliser FOB. I hope this has been of use to you guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give it a like, and don't forget to give it a comment down below. Until next time, thanks for watching. See you later.